You're watching Let's Chat.
We love having the Hamilton County Health Department on. Why? Because it's interesting but surprisingly fun, and today's no exception, with my good friend, truly my friend, Dr. Stephen Miller. Good to see you, sir.
Happy to be on, Andy.
Thank you very much. So today we're talking about childhood vaccines, back to school. You got to have that little checklist you need to turn into the teachers.
Exactly right.
Talk to me about that.
You know, just like getting backpacks and school boxes, it's time to think about getting our children's immunizations caught up.
Why are they so important? People think, oh, polio is eradicated, all these bizarre diseases we're getting vaccinated for. Why is it important?
You know, I'm glad you brought up polio, and we'll get back to that. But,
good.
We're taking your own immune system and helping protect your child from any of these diseases. Antibiotics are great, masks, sure they help some in cases, but to use your own immune system to fight off these infections, and we need to do it while they're young. We don't want them to get things like polio. Remember, back in the 50s, as many as 3,000 to 5,000 kids per year were dying of polio, and 60,000 dying.
Not just a disability.
Not just disability, not just an iron lung. I'm talking dying from it. And then 60,000 kids thereabouts were contracting it during the 50s. So,
wow.
And we don't have it. We've eradicated it. Why? Because of immunizations.
Well, what are you seeing are the main vaccines, or what is required? What's the basic requirement currently?
That varies with age, depending on someone who's more in the college age, like your child,
yes,
versus the young children. But we have things that we want to protect the kids against, like measles, mumps, rubella, tetanus, pertussis. These are things that really will take a child's life. Now we're coming out with some great vaccines for RSV, and that's what fills up the pediatric wards during the wintertime.
Oh, right. So is there the bare minimum that's required, and then there's add-ons people can get that just have an extra concern or risk?
Sure. Some of the ones that you make a choice on later on in life might be the HPV vaccines and things like that as well. That can be very beneficial. But once again, that's your choice. But there are required vaccines such as the tetanus, and the pertussis, and things like that.
So as a journalist, I kind of like this next question. Why is the state low in vaccination numbers? I mean, I think everything's gotten political, which is scary for a doctor, I bet. Because you're like, guys,
we talk about it a lot, and a lot of it. I believe the pandemic started it, and I think things like social media help perpetuate that.
100%. So why is it important to bring, so the vaccination numbers are low, even to these dangerous, deadly diseases that haven't been controversial
We
before?
need about a 94% immunization rate in our children to help things like polio not reemerge.
Right.
And we've been maintaining around 93, 94 in the past, but now in parts of the state we're getting down to 91 and 92%. And we're hearing outbreaks of things like measles in other states, and we don't want that to come to our state.
Well, I'm sure when people meet you at like a cocktail party or dinner, they probably ask you questions about this because it's become a sort of social, political topic. What do you say to them?
I say to them that you really need to be cautious with taking your advice from someone who is an influencer. Really, truly. Most of these immunizations that we're using have been around since our grandparents' generation. And we need to fall back and realize that. Look to the classics. We want to protect our kids. We don't want any of this. I would never want to see diphtheria in a child. And hopefully, in our era, we won't.
But we are seeing upticks of some of these diseases coming back, a reemergence?
We are, and as temperatures warm up, with global warming, things like that, we're starting to see things like you know, measles and other, malaria and other things coming to this country. So the very least we can do is make sure that a lot of these childhood illnesses are being protected against in our children. Well,
thank you for coming on and spreading the good word as usual. How can we make appointments?
You do not need an appointment, but if you'd like, call 209-8050. We have many locations throughout the county ready to serve your needs, and our nurses are standing by ready to update your child.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miller. Can't wait to have you on again, and our friend Jolie in the studio. Our friend, she used to work here too, so thanks for coming on, guys. health.hamiltontn.org. All that information up there on the screen. You don't even need an appointment. 423-209-8050. There's several locations throughout the county. Once again, thank you for coming on, Dr. Miller.
Thank you.